Issues and Attitudes.
And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, interim GM at WEIU TV and Radio. We're going to talk all things Charleston today. We got the mayor, Dr. Brandon Combs, in the house. Welcome, Dr. Brandon.
Thank you, Jeff.
And Scott Smith, city manager for Charleston.
Nice to see you, Jeff.
So beautiful Monday. Campus is opening this week with EIU students coming in. So it's a good week here in Charleston to have you guys on, I thought.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
So let's talk a little bit about what's new in Charleston, and we'll get into some of the projects and some of the details as we go on. But when you think of Charleston right now in the August of 2018, well, you know, what's new, what's going on?
Well, I mean, obviously all the students returning. I always get really excited to see all the cars coming back in, see more students out and about. Walmart, I mean, you know, the grocery stores, just everywhere you go, and the parents coming into Charleston. It's just... it's awesome, and then we'll get into it more later, but all the amazing things that are going on at the lake and with the trails and everything, you know, I mean, it's been a great year for us so far, and I'm looking forward to EIU starting.
You're Scott, want to add?
No, I just would echo those things. This is a busy time of the year. Of course, grade school getting started this week, K through 12, I think on Wednesday, and Eastern students rolling back in, and so business is picking up and a lot of activity on Lincoln and in the business community, so it's good.
Now, you guys are both from Charleston, so you're out and about a lot in Charleston. Do the business owners and the people of Charleston kind of get a little more pep in their step as they know Eastern students are coming in? I know sometimes, you know, you think about it and, the Eastern kids are coming back, but do they really start getting excited because they know it's money, but it's also just, when there's more people around, it just brings a lot more energy to the town?
I think it's a lot more, you know, there's a lot more energy, and I have noticed, you know, ever since there was some issue, you know, downturn in enrollment and stuff, and the more students that come back, you know, the community embraces that, and they're embracing the EIU a lot more, and they like to see the more students. That's a question I get all the time is, have we got more students coming back? You know, I mean, is there going to be more? And so I see a lot more excitement now than I've seen in a while.
And I think the answer is going to be, I think there will be more students. I know everybody's asking right now. If Dr. Glassman was here, he'd tell you he won't know until that 10th day of the semester, and that's when the actual quote-unquote numbers get official, but we're all looking forward to that number. But I think you've seen the upturn, and I talked to somebody last week, and I think we've hit the bottom, you know, a while back, and now it seems like Charleston...
I was with Dr. Glassman Friday night. Him and his girlfriend came over for dinner, and we were talking, and I know he's very excited, and I'm very excited. That's about all I can say. But yeah, we're both very, very excited with what we're seeing.
And Scott, from your point of view, I mean, as a city manager, I know that it's not really your area, but when you think about it, it is, because as businesses are doing better, and it only helps with the tax base. So when you have to work on your budgets and stuff. So talk about what you think the fall will bring in terms of budget and money and all that stuff.
Well, you know, our budget was, as far as our tax levy and everything, that was approved last December, so it's kind of the tail wagging the dog at this point. But from a budgetary standpoint, obviously, you know, with increased enrollment, that generates more sales at the cash register for all the businesses in the community, and that's vitally important to the city of Charleston. You know, like you mentioned, I think we hit the bottom here, you know, a couple years ago, and hopefully things are turning around in a positive direction, and that can only help with the business climate and the business community and generate additional tax dollars that'll help support the city.
Brandon, you said it's been a great year so far when you think of 2018 for Charleston. Talk about some of the success stories, and jump in whenever you need, Scott, on this. You know, when you think about what's happened good in 2018 and as we look...
I mean, for me, I mean, there's just so much. It's going to be hard to even touch on all of it, but I mean, I'm going to start with just as things as like some of the streets here in town that we've been able to do. The 10th Street project, that's huge, and it's been yeah, and then they repaved it, and they repaved 14th all the way down to Madison, and then they redid some sewer stuff and repaved the streets over there by Mark Twain, which we've all known have needed done forever. I mean, you're not dropping kids off of Mark Twain, but, you know, I hear that all the time. When is that going to happen? And I've got letters, you probably have, and I know Kurt has too, from citizens thanking us. You know, we've done a lot of sidewalk projects, and, you know, so people can get around. And then, you know, the big thing is all the stuff that's going on at the lake. My goodness, it's just something new every day. You know, there's that beach out there now, which I think is absolutely awesome. And I don't know how many times this weekend I got asked about that. We had some Boy Scout donate and put together some Adirondack chairs out there. And I know Steve Pamperin was creeping by, driving by Lake Charleston, taking pictures of, I mean, they were full ever since they put them up Saturday morning. Every time he went out there, there was a new couple just sitting there with their dogs, whatever else, just watching the river. It's just, I don't know, there's just so much buzz. There's so much going on in our community. I get calls from other mayors, emails from other mayors. What's going on? Why is Charleston doing that? Why is Charleston doing this? And it's just a great feeling.
It's kind of neat how things have come together. I mean, I think when we would have talked 4 or 5 years ago, I don't think it ever was brought up in the conversation that Charleston now would be known as a destination for biking and hiking. But it can it's not just Charleston now. It can continue to grow throughout, when you think about the Mattoon, Charleston area, and probably even further if we were looking down the road. Talk about now biking and hiking is Charleston's new unquote thing.
Well, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
You drive out there at the lake, and you don't see very many open parking spaces anymore. And when you do go out there and you're walking, you see so many different people. I don't know how many states have we seen now, like 15 or even maybe it's more than that now. People coming down here, and weekend, people can hop on the train and get over there to Lake Charleston. They can kayak down the river, they can bike, and they can hike and do all the different things. So, it's just, it's awesome to see the lake like that again. I mean, It's not been like that in my lifetime. I mean,
it hasn't been that hopping, as I would say, since I was a kid. So back in the days when the teen center was there, and I can remember faintly when I was little swimming in what we refer to as the river, which was really the lake, but that was a long time ago. And so there's a lot of activity, like the mayor mentioned. I had to run down to the lake today to look at progress on the new playground site, and there was a family of 5, 2 adults with 3 little kids, and they had been biking, and they were using the Sister City Annex connection there. And so pretty exciting to see. And it's like the mayor indicated, the new chairs are nice, the pavilion's open and being very heavily used. A lot of folks out there walking the trails. We're painting the red barn this week. So there's a lot of good things going on, plus the installation of the playground is well underway, and we hope to get the equipment installed in September and be open for business in October. So,
well, what's after that? I mean, we'll wait for that out there.
Well, we've got a big project that was approved by Charleston Area Charitable Foundation, which we'll call Dam A, which is when you come into the lake, just past the restrooms and the Alex Russell and the Red Barn area, there's that retaining wall there. That'll all come out. There'll be new sidewalk installed there. We'll repave that section of Dam A, add some parking, redo the boat ramp, and then put in what I would consider to be a boardwalk feel all across what's Dam A from the Alex Russell Pier over to the boat ramp. So that'll all start next spring and probably take our crews the better part of a year to complete. So we're really, really looking forward to that. And then that'll all link around to the project that's been in and around the pavilion and the new playground project.
Okay. You touched a little bit while ago about the city budget, but as you look at your 2018, you head into 2019, the good, the bad, the ugly, if you give it to us?
Well, I think things are right on target where we thought they would be, with respect to revenues and expenditures at this point. We're about, 4 or 5 months into the fiscal year at this point, 4 months actually. So we're about where we thought we would be. So our fiscal year runs from May 1st through the end of April. So we're, about 25% of the way in. And so we've got a pretty good handle on where we think things are going to be. And from a projection standpoint, where we think we're going to be a year end. Looking forward, I don't have a crystal ball, but again, like the mayor touched on, and we talked about a little bit about an uptick at EIU and enrollment, and that's good for business. So I see things hopefully going in a positive direction going forward versus maybe what we were experiencing from 08 on. So I'd like to turn the horse around in the other direction and know that going forward we can see some slight increases in revenue.
It seems like there's a lot of positivity
on
this side of the county for sure, which is good news, and we've been wanting it for a while. So, and you guys I know take all the credit, which you should, right?
No, I take none of the credit.
I'm not going to take any of the credit. I mean, it's the people out there that are working hard and spreading the word, and my hat's off to Dr. Glassman and Jay Cottrell. I mean, I can't imagine the hours, and I hear about the hours that they put in, and I mean, Scott and I deal with a lot and put in a lot of hours too, but the commitment to this university and the commitment to this community, not being from here, it's just tremendous. And I mean, I can't say enough about either one of them, just how much they've come in here and embraced it and, made this, their home and and helping the university and the communities grow.
And on top of their accessibility too. I mean, they're not just hiding in the castle. They're in the community,
exactly,
accessible. And so I'm not saying that because that's both of my bosses in the line of succession,
what you're saying is 100%.
Yeah, but they are. If I need to get a hold of either of them, or anybody does, I mean, they're going to get back to you within that day or even sooner if they're not totally swamped. So I think that's a big plus, because some people think as a president they're up there in the castle and they don't have to do anything, but they are both very accessible people. One of the things that I read about this weekend, I'm not going to throw you under the bus on this one, but I don't know if you don't know the details, but it's more of a Mattoon problem. But I saw where Mattoon had to use some Charleston ambulance services because of the things going on over there. Do you see that being an issue as we move forward? There's more people coming into the county, which means possibility of more accidents, less ambulance services on the Mattoon side. How does that affect your guys' thinking as we head into the fall semester?
Well, I think that we have an excellent relationship with our friends in Mattoon, and certainly with the city of Mattoon, and have been in communications with Kyle and his team. Of course, the fire departments have a great relationship, good working relationship, and have for many, many years. Same thing with police department, and really public works in all aspects of city government. We meet on a monthly basis, so we're well aware of the issues or concerns related to ambulance and services provided by the private ambulance companies, along with the city of Mattoon's situation with their ambulances. And yes, it was unfortunate that there was some situations that arose where it required our personnel to send some equipment over and to serve the citizens of Mattoon. But we've done that before, and we've also been the recipient at times when we've been smacked real hard on a day at a particular time and had ambulances out and very, very busy, and had to call on support from other ambulance providers, including the city of Mattoon. So hopefully that's not a routine or a regular occurrence, but certainly we realize that when you're in the ambulance business in Coles County, there are going to be times when accidents happen, and they all happen at once, and it requires kind of a team effort, regional effort to provide support, and we'll be there to support the community.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Brandon? That was a good answer, wasn't it? Yep. He's pretty good, really. Let's talk a little bit about new businesses that have popped up, or anything you've maybe heard that's coming as we look here in Charleston right now.
Well, and you get this a lot, but there are been several new business inquiries. And there's things that I'm just not going to be able to speak about, but I will say...
Oh, you can. It's just me. It's just me and you.
Just you, yeah, right. No, I think the city planner... I think the city... Oh, believe me, I'd love to, but the city planner would probably strangle me because I know he's working tirelessly, and Scott is, he meets with different people and talk, and I'm just... to be honest with you, I'm very proud of Scott and the staff we have up there, Steve Pamperin, Alex, Greg Culp, and the guys that are just going above and beyond.
Greg Culp, you said?
Yeah, Greg Culp.
He's been working?
Yeah, he's been working. He's been doing a lot out the lake. That's, yeah, he has. But, as far as in the business front,
I will say that, is it the new realty place is looking good? Is that what?
Yeah. And there, and there's other interests in other places on Lincoln. A lot of people don't realize this, but they'll come to Scott, or they'll come to me, or they'll come to Steve, and they're like, well, why don't you do this, or why doesn't the city do that? We don't own those properties, okay? And what a lot of people don't understand is we might have a business interested, but if they can't make a deal with the property owner, there's nothing we can do. We want to beat our heads against the wall sometimes because we want to see these things happen, and they just...
but all you can do is give them the phone number.
That's all
or
we
the
can
email
do.
address.
Yeah, and it's happening quite often, actually. I mean, it really
Why do you think people don't get that? Because, I mean, they come to you and they say, why isn't there something on the corner here at 9th Street, or that restaurant that's been, closed forever there?
Because I don't think, until I got involved in this, Jeff, I never thought of it that way. You just look at it and think, well, or not you, but people look at it and say, well, why don't we have a Denny's sitting right here on the corner of 9th and Lincoln? We should have one. Why isn't it going on? Why isn't the city doing more? The city's doing a whole lot. That doesn't mean, we can do whatever we want to do. And it's not like it used to be how you get these places in town. It's just not an understanding. And I'm not saying people are ignorant by any means. I'm saying you don't understand. I didn't understand. Even when I got on council, I still didn't understand. Now, come on, we can get these guys here. It's just not that. It's just not that easy. You know, we've changed. We've got business incentives now. I can tell you, I've talked with several people about some things on Lincoln that I see probably happening. The business incentives are helping because that's a big thing now. We passed those. Well, that's been a couple years ago, and a lot of people don't realize that there are some. But that's how you. That's with what we have. Being a non-home rule community, we're doing everything we can to try to attract.
Any update on the Will Rogers? Any progress? It seemed to had some momentum a couple years ago, and
I have not heard anything recently from Katie or her team with respect to that's the current owner to anything related to theater at this time. I know there's been some communications between Katie and the group that had formed a year or so ago, trying to raise funds to help renovate, and I know that was their hope to acquire the property, but I'm not sure where that stands at this point. But we're still hopeful that at some point in the near future that the ownership group will get with the city and that we might be able to package a TIF project for the theater. So I'm still hopeful of that, and hope that maybe in the next 12 months we can put a deal together and get something going over there.
Since we last spoke also, which seems like it's been a long time than usual, but I think we're so busy sometimes, right? Mother's burnt down, which is sad. Kind of part of my. Maybe I went there a couple times in college. I'll just leave it that way.
Sure.
But it's part of Charleston. It was part of Charleston forever. I mean, is there any chance that there's something going back there? Or any word on what's happening there?
I was on vacation last week, and I've been, I've spoken with the Bells, but I'll leave that stuff up to them.
Okay.
I don't want to steal
nothing pressing or anything, but
nothing.
It just looks really weird going by there and seeing that open.
I will say that Mike and Stan's facility
Looks
after
good.
the restoration and renovation looks fantastic. The new brick wall on the east side of that building was completed a couple weeks ago, and I think Ed Carter did a majority of the work in there and just did a fantastic job. Of course, it was sad to see Stan Braden pass away this summer, but thankfully Stan was able to be around when the building was reopened to the public, and so just a beautiful job. We're very pleased with the work that was done over there, and so thankfully that building was saved. And I agree with you; it's unfortunate that we lost Mothers, but I think what came out of that fire and what restoration work and the work that Ed and those folks did over there at Mike and Stan's looks really, really good. So.
Other projects, I mean, we talked a lot about the lake, and I know there's sidewalks are going on. It seems like everywhere when you get right now. Maybe that's my driving pattern. But other things that are going to be happening this fall that people can kind of be aware of.
Well, the sidewalk project is going to be a big undertaking, and that's a collaboration from grant funds that we acquired. And so we've got a couple miles worth of sidewalk we intend to install here in the next 2 years. It's a 2-year granting cycle. So be a combination of city employees, and some of the work will be contracted out. So we're hoping to get the work started in October. And so there'll be a tremendous amount of sidewalk done here in the next 12 to 18 months. So you'll start to see crews out pouring sidewalk, not that you haven't already, because we've been out doing a lot of curb and gutter and sidewalk work, especially on 10th and other sections of town. But there'll be a lot of work going on just strictly on sidewalks going forward starting in October. And we'll work as long as we can, weather permitting, so even into the winter months.
Are there anything else that we know that people can expect for the fall, or you got to touch on a lot?
I think, again, we're going to be pretty busy down at the lake for the next few months, getting the playground and retaining wall. They're putting that in now, and so we've got some earthwork yet to do and some fence installation, and so those are the big things I think that'll be fairly noticeable to the community.
The other issue that's kind of come up in Coles County in the past, 6 to 8, 10, 12 months is the property tax issues. I know it's not you, but I mean, your thoughts, and if people have concerns, can you take us where they should go?
Well, any issues related to the county's reassessment or property tax issues need to be dealt with over at the county. Assessment issues are dealt with in the county's assessment office, and then issues related to tax bills are typically handled in the treasurer's office. That'd be George Edwards' office. But it's a combination of the clerk, the treasurer, the assessor's office that handle that process over at the county. And so we're just a portion of the property tax bill, and our taxes are levied in December, and everything gets shipped over to the county, and they handle it from there. But we're not responsible for the reassessment process or any of the assessment issues related to the county's reassessment. So,
Brandon
Combs, you've been mayor now for seems like a while. How many years is it now?
I don't even know. Honestly, I know I came on board, May of 2013 and
5 years.
June 15. And June of 15 when I
Right.
became mayor. Yeah.
Right. So it's been a little over 3 years.
3 years, 5 years on the council, 3 years there.
Yep.
Where are we in the re-election cycle? I mean, in terms of the process.
You're a
It's
year
gonna
in.
be.
You're a year into your
Year in,
4-year term.
Yeah. So I mean, it'll be 2021, I believe.
So we're set there. Nothing to worry about. Have you thought about re-election yet?
I get that question all the time.
That's why I'm here,
I care enough about the community, and we'll see where it's at. I have my little ones to think about, but it's cool to them to see Dad as mayor and stuff. But if I did run again, I was saying this just yesterday. My oldest daughter should be graduating high school, heading to college.
Right.
And I was just like, man, that's crazy. I mean, how fast time flies. But, I love the community. And as long as things continue to, I just want to see progression. And there's probably a good chance I will, yeah.
Okay. Kind of breaking news there, Scott.
That was
good.
yeah.
We're going to go with
You
that.
got a little bit there today, Jeff.
Is there challenges that you guys hadn't planned for, and not just maybe this year, but in your everyday job that come, and then how do you react to those? Like if somebody just out of nowhere hits you with a problem, an issue, and I don't even like those words as much as it's a challenge, then take us through the process of Brandon Combs and Scott Smith about how you tackle issues like that.
To be honest with you, the way I went about this since I even joined council is if someone wants to come at me with a challenge or usually it's a negative, okay?
Yeah, I was trying to stay away from that word, but
No, yeah. I don't mind it because someone comes at me with something negative, I'm going to come at them with the truth because most of the time we don't understand it or it's not out there, and then I'm going to combat it with as many positives as I can. When I first became mayor, I didn't even want to go to Walmart. Because they're all hitting you up, and Scott told me, and Mayor Inier told me, hey, you're gonna get all these questions about this and that, and don't take it wrong. It's just just part of the job. And I was blessed because I had Mayor Inier and I had Scott that really helped me out, and Scott definitely has really helped groom me into the fact that when I'm confronted with those things, I just don't. I don't know. I've watched him deal with so many of it. We just go at it and we start pointing out the positives. And yeah, okay, so something may be a little bit bad, but you know what? Here's what we're doing to try to combat that. For instance, there was this whole big thing about a house here in Charleston that came up, and I was unaware of much of it. And Steve and Alex and them were going on. Basically, all I did was listen to the complaint. Went and did the homework with Steve Pamperin and Alex in the planning department and in the what is that, coding and stuff. They gave me the facts. I went back to the persons that were complaining, gave them the facts, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. I had no idea. So it's basically, I don't always know the answer, but I'll go find the answer and give you the best that I can, and that usually helps out.
Goes back to the accessibility that we talked about too, that you're accessible.
And that's something that I will say that another thing, Scott and I, we don't really turn down.
No.
As hard as some of the meetings may be, we don't really turn them down. We'll meet with them, and that in itself just being heard, they can see we do care.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've had an open door policy since I took office, and I think that's very, very important. Accessibility is important. And I maneuver around in the community quite a bit, so I'm pretty accessible. And while that may not set well with my family at times, I was just in Poly Eyes the other day and got stopped, and for, 30 minutes or so. But that's just part of it. And I think we do our very best to try to resolve issues as quickly as we possibly can. And I think, like the mayor touched on, a lot of resolving issues is providing information and facts. And sometimes, we may get a property complaint that's being dealt with in court, and those things take time. And as much as we'd love to be able to run down and take care of something tomorrow, it takes time. There's a process. And as long as we can share the route to a resolution, that's going to court, or it's being dealt with this way, or they've been ticketed and they've got 30 days to deal with this, I think it's helpful. It doesn't resolve those issues immediately, although there are times when I can fix something this afternoon. I love it when I can do that, but not in all cases, and sometimes that's hard for people to swallow at times. But just relaying information, I think, is so critically important, and I think we do a good job of that.
When you're on the street or at the Walmart or at the county market or wherever, what do people ask you the most? I mean, what are they? Hey, Mayor, I need to Or, hey, Scott, I need to, what do they ask you the most about?
I think, a lot of times it's just they're curious about, like, for example, this weekend it had to do with what are they doing on Lincoln Avenue? I see all these flags and these markers, and I see the equipment up there, and they're digging holes. And I will tell you that is work that the state is performing now in advance of a major overhaul of Lincoln Avenue. And so,
and they always do it right before Eastern opens.
There will be new traffic signals, work done on the intersections. They'll mill and overlay Lincoln Avenue, and so it's a big project. In fact, Kurt mentioned this morning that we'll be gearing up to sign our joint agreement with the state of Illinois for our portion of the work that's going to be done on Route 16, and so we're very excited about that. And so again, people just curious what was going on and didn't know if we were doing something or the state was, and so I get a lot of that.
I would have to echo that. It seems like lately more of the things that I hear is, when is Lincoln going to get fixed? When is Lincoln going to? Well, we want it done too, but it's not us. It is the state, and it is awesome to see some progression there. That, and then just questions about Eastern. I mean, I can't remember the last time that it's been like a crazy thing within the city necessarily. It's the big.
How many kids are going to be enrolled?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they always want to know. And I don't know.
All right, rapid fire questions. A couple minutes left. Did you go on anywhere on summer vacation? Where?
Yeah, just got back from Panama City Beach.
Scott?
Florida,
cool.
Yeah.
Cardinals going to make the playoffs.
Yes, they are. They're hot.
I would agree with that.
So I set you guys up. So both Cardinal fans. What do people not know about Dr. Brandon Combs and Scott Smith? Just give us a little insight.
Know.
Just soap opera fan, football fan.
I mean, I don't know. I love watching crime shows. Like the real crime. Like I seen Dr.
Crime and
Glassman on
Punishment.
Forensic Files. That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. Cool.
Boy,
Scott?
that's a good one. I'll probably take a beating, but I like watching HGTV.
Nothing wrong with that. As we get older, I'd have made fun of you 20 years ago, but now it's like, I watch Property Builders. And
I watch all that stuff.
Yeah.
Beachfront Bargains. That's one of my favorites.
There you go. Buying Alaska.
Yeah.
Hot dog topping.
Relish and mustard.
Ketchup, onions,
you're one of those.
relish, mustard, the whole bit.
TV show growing up that you had to watch. Came home from school or Friday night or whatever.
Oh, is He-Man or Scooby-Doo?
Oh,
Wow, not bad. I like the Jetsons and several cartoons.
First day of school is this week for folks in Mattoon and here in Charleston. When you think of first day of school, what comes to mind?
Butterflies in my stomach.
Getting back together with my friends. I enjoyed that.
I don't know what this is. I always think about those metal lunch boxes we had. Remember back in the day?
Those were the best. The metal lunchbox, and they're starting to make a comeback.
Yeah, I know.
So
We
we're
had a
talking
Steve
about
Austin lunchbox,
Yes.
I think.
So I think mine was Steelers, but those are the things I remember.
Yeah, mine was He-Man once again.
All right. Best thing about your job, Dr. Combs, is?
Oh, the people.
I think working with people. I would agree with that.
There you go. Mattoon, Charleston, Coles County Clash, just 5-6 weeks away. Predictions?
I gotta go with Charleston. Come on now.
I think it'll be a close game.
Close game. I think it'll be closer this year because I don't think either team is probably world beaters. So, but
I think it'll be a close game.
There you go. Good.
Which will be enjoyable.
There you go. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate talking
Thanks
about
for having us.
Charleston and have you back around Christmas time again if you'll have us.
All right.
This
Thank
is
you so much.
Issues and Attitudes.
We're Charleston's radio station. From the Square to Old Main. From Charleston High School to EIU. We cover it all on Hit Mix 88.9 WEIU.